his discharge is the reason why he didn't have to go into the draft. It's not why. It's not an avoidance. That's an actual.
Why are you acting like you know anything about this? You don't know anything about it. Why are you saying what the facts are?
Wait, also, why are you saying he was discharged from the military? What are you talking about? He wasn't a part of the military. He never served.
Opinion, that's why. I know how to disseminate fact from opinion.
Yeah, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually have to be enlisted to receive a discharge, right? He was never enlisted. He received a medical deferment for bone spurs.
Like 5 times.
So you're saying he avoided the draft by using bone spurs, but he got a discharge for it?
No one said discharge. You made that up.
Oh my God.
Discharge and deferment both
said discharge.
No, sweetheart, listen, breathe. Discharge and deferment both start with the letter D, but they are different words.
Yeah, no one here said.
It's not my fault. You guys don't know the difference between fact and opinion.
Wait, hold on. What part of if I say Donald Trump used a diagnosis of bone spurs to avoid being drafted in Vietnam, is that an opinion or a fact?
The fact would be that he had a discharge deferment for bone spurs at the same time as the.
Why do you keep saying discharge?
Is that the right? Am I using the right?
If you don't know, why the fuck are you
wait. Why are you saying discharge?
No, he wasn't. I'm trying to actually construct the fact for you.
Wait, no. I don't need help constructing the fact. I need you to understand the English language. You keep saying discharge.
Because you don't know the fact from opinion. You're giving your opinion and not the actual fact.
Didn't you just ask
what did I just say? What part of that was an opinion? Donald Trump.
Because I'm quoting you. You said something about deferment of discharge.
No, okay, he's trolling. All right,
you're trolling.
Maybe to go next.
All right.
Okay, it's not. Hey, you guys, whatever. Like
you're trolling. No one said discharge.
No one here said discharge.
You guys just said discharge like 4 times.
Yeah. Okay, ban him.
Okay, we're moving. That was a good meme, though. It was a good meme. It was an excellent meme. All right. I see truth over chaos. I've gone through such lengths to get you unbanned from Destiny, to get you in the space, to figure out your tech issues. All you need to do is request speakership. We're moving on from the VA stuff, and we're talking about corruption, justice, that kind of thing. You're the one saying no lefty ever wants to debate you on Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. So please, for the love of God, request to speak, and we'll let you speak, finally. In the meantime, Josiah, how are you?
Doing well, buddy. How are you guys?
Not good.
Not good?
I've missed the past 2 hours, so did something happen while I was gone that made you not good, Stephen?
No, you're basically the same shit I talked to you this morning about. That makes me feel not good.
Oh, fair enough.
All right, we have him. I think this is Truth Over Chaos. Now, Truth Over Chaos, you are a trial attorney assessing evidence, motive, and truth, fighting propaganda that divides, corrupts, and confuses. They got Spielberg. We got truth. Follow for it. That's your Twitter description. And today we're talking about Trump and Harris, and specifically kind of, and hopefully the intersection of corruption, of justice problems, and of censorship, and how they relate to the choice for president. So if you could tailor your remarks to those issues, or really anything you want to talk about, just go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. Thanks for having me. And Destiny, thanks for unblocking me. I'm coming in kind of late, so I don't know what you guys are covering. But my main concern is that the left seems to be advancing policies based in Marxism. And I don't understand the lack of concern. I think that there's so much hatred for Trump.
Okay, wait, real quick. How are we defining Marxism?
So, I take DEI as the best example.
Wait, I'm not asking for an example.
Marxism?
I'm saying give me an example. Not give me an example. What is your definition of Marxism?
So, I don't think that that's a fair question. Marxism has
What do you
Hold
mean
on.
when
No,
you
wait.
use the term
I'm so
Marxism?
sorry. You said where did you graduate law school from?
Stetson University College of Law.
Okay, it's not fair to ask for a definition of what you're accusing a side of pursuing?
Well, this is a space where I believe you want to move things along, right?
No, I don't. We don't want to move things along. We want to know what we're actually saying. What is you're saying, because your chief contention right now is that they're advancing Marxism. So we're curious, what is your definition of Marxism?
What do you mean?
Because if you mean by Marxism,
so,
you mean they're trying to expand government benefits, we'll all say oh yeah, they are trying to do that. We just wouldn't call that Marxism. So we're not going to waste time debating it.
So a concise definition for my concern in this situation is putting identity as a consideration over merit.
That's Marxism. Identity over merit is your definition.
In this situation, obviously that's not a full definition of Marxism, but you asked for what.
Okay, so when you say Marxism, you mean identity over merit. Cool,
I believe
Stephen?
that, yes,
He gave you a definition.
that's part
Okay.
of it. And then there's also the part where you're breaking into groups and you're blaming other people for problems. It's the opposite of taking
So
personal
like identity
responsibility.
politics, right? Would you say
Not
it was
exactly
Marxism?
identity politics. It's literally saying that, certain people are in the position that they are because of other people. Not that that's not true. Racism exists. I don't deny that. I just don't think it's a fixable problem through putting someone's identity over merit in promotions and hiring or in anything. I think it's a terrible
Right.
idea, and I think
So
it
when
ends.
you paint with a broad brush, like when you paint white people with a broad brush, or when you say like Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs, that's when it's all based on identity. That's problematic, right?
I think it's stupid. I think that Trump talking about anybody talking about Haitians eating cats and dogs is absolutely stupid. I think it obscures the real issue, which I do think that there's an immigration problem. I think most people agree with that. And I almost think the Republicans want to lose sometimes when they do stupid shit, like talk about specific cats and dogs in a fucking city in Ohio that, we don't see that in our neighborhoods. Most people think that, like that pushes people farther to the left.
Yeah,
So,
on that
yeah.
we're kind of agreed. It just feels like Kamala Harris has been trying not to put her identity front and foremost. Like she's been, if you listen to her acceptance speech, she hasn't been like emphasizing her race or her gender. She's been like focusing on personal stories and how she grew up. And so I don't understand why are you concerned about Marxism in with respect to the Kamala Harris campaign as opposed to Donald Trump campaign? What's the big difference there?
I'll also say when she's asked about her identity, she just quickly shuts the conversation down and then says move on. So like when people say, hey, Trump says that you just recently turned black, she just shakes her head and says, same old tired playbook, next question.
Yeah.
And then when you're done with that, I do have a question. When you say like hiring or firing based on identity, would you count like political ideology as part of identity? So hiring or firing somebody based on their politics? Is that a form of DEI?
That's a good question, and I would say no because it's not an intrinsic quality. It's not something that one cannot change or impact with their
Okay.
own
All right.
goodwill.
Sorry. No, that's fine. Just going back to Pisco's question. Go ahead. Sorry.
And I'm sorry, man. Like that question interested me, so I kind of lost track of the first one. Can you repeat that for me, please?
Pisco.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah. So like the first one would be, Kamala Harris has kind of been kind of evading the identity issue. She's trying not to emphasize that. And so what are you seeing as the big indicators, either policy wise or otherwise, that you're going to see an increase in what you call Marxism, which is this kind of identity over merit situation?
Right. So I respect that. Like I think that Kamala, and I hope I'm saying that right.
You're not. It's Kamala. I don't know why it's so hard.
What did I say?
Kamala.
Say it again for me the right way, please.
Kamala.
Okay. No, I honestly, I don't mean to do that.
No, it's cool. It just feels like very intentional with like people like Piers Morgan and you watch them
Nancy
and they
Mace.
you should know how to just say the name. Like just pronounce it right. It's not like
Right,
I don't really
and-
care, but just pronounce it right. I'm not saying you specifically because you might have had, I guess you might not have heard it correctly, or I don't know.
I don't talk to a lot of people about politics. It's
Okay.
more something that I do. I find interest on X and online with it, so I don't say it out loud a lot. And now that I'm about to say it again, I'm nervous I'm going to say it wrong. So it's like,
No, you're good. You're good.
I got
It's, so
the
it's
gifts
it's
or
comma.
something.
It's like comma. Like if you're saying like a comma as a grammatical thing, like so Kamala.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to say Miss Harris to be safe.
Sure, that's fine.
But I do respect that. I think that she has done a good job of deflecting. Part of that I attribute to she's becoming a good politician, and she's trying to win an election, and she knows that that's not a good issue for her. But in terms of why I have more concerns.
Hold on,
about
wait. Deflecting what?
Like she's not going on race. She's not
Well,
promoting her
No,
identity.
stop. Hold on. No, stop.
Exactly.
Wait. Hold on. Pisco. He just framed that so unbelievably negatively.
I agree.
You didn't frame that like she just doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't think it's an important issue of substance. You make it sound like she's going to lose based on her racial identity, so she's avoiding it and she's becoming a good politician. Is that how you meant to characterize that?
No, I don't think that's exactly. I think that she knows that. Well, I believe Biden's on record saying that he was going to pick a black female or a minority female for his VP. and that's her
A
legacy.
female. Yes.
Right. So she is somewhat hired based upon her identity. I don't like the term DEI hire because it implies that every minority that's in a good position got it because of their identity and not their merit.
Hold on,
which is
wait,
another
wait,
problem.
hold on. That's not true. You're winning a popularity contest to some extent when you're voting for your leader. Also, leaders are supposed to represent you to some extent. For instance, we wouldn't say that Pence was a DEI pick, even though Trump picked him largely for his conservative identity and for his evangelical identity, right? That doesn't make him a DEI pick. He's trying to appeal to a wider base of voters that he might not have a lot of appeal with.
But again, Destiny, you're confusing intrinsic qualities like race and ethnicity with things that people have control and
No, why does that matter there?
power.
It doesn't matter there. That's not relevant
Well,
there.
of course it does. Of course it does. Character of the person is what matters in
No,
the
no,
world,
hold on. You can't
not their
discriminate based on
identity.
somebody being like a veteran, but you can choose whether or not you want to be in the military. You can't discriminate on somebody based on like if they have kids, but you can choose
But
whether
that's
or not
not
they
what I'm saying. I'm not talking about discrimination. I'm talking about what matters in an individual. And things that they don't have any control of need to be separated from things that they do have control of. That's an important distinction. Would you agree with that?
Okay,
Sure,
that's fine.
but if you're trying to
Destiny's
pick a
response is-
leader for a country, you probably want people that represent the people that you're trying to lead, right?
But you're changing the goalpost.
No,
every
hold on,
time
stop.
you make a point.
My goalpost has not moved a micrometer, okay? You said
course
that
it-
picking somebody to run on your ticket because of their race is DEI, implying that they're not otherwise qualified. There are probably tons of people qualified to run for vice president. I mean, technically, you don't need any qualifications. Why is it wrong to pick somebody who might represent a broader part of the constituency that you don't represent, like by race?
Because I believe that merit matters more than identity. And by definition, when he says that he's going to pick a female, he's limiting the pool of qualified candidates. And I don't want to get. I mean,
Well,
I'll
wait
talk
a minute.
about
Do you
whatever
think like
want.
the upper echelon of like black female candidates is competitive with the upper echelon of white female candidates or white men or whatever? Like, surely you don't believe that there is a way to, construct like a very strict hierarchy down to the candidate. You're talking about tiers, TIERS, of qualified candidates, right? So when he's saying he's going to pick a black woman, he's presumably going to pick the best qualified black woman he can find. And presumably the best qualified black woman is competitive with the most qualified black man or white woman, right? I assume you don't think that a white man is more qualified than a black woman, right?
I mean, there are a lot of hypotheticals in that.
Well,
I don't
spoiler.
think-
We'll skip to the end of it. Spoiler alert: they're all on par with one another. We have no reason to believe that the best of black women is somehow not competitive with the best of black men, white women, and so on and so forth. So he narrows it down to black
in what
women.
field?
Say what?
In what field?
Well, it's not about. Well, it's just like you have buckets of people that are there. Again, there are probably 1,000 people that would have been okay VP picks. But like if you're saying like, okay, well, I think I want to pick somebody who's like I could agree that if he picked a black woman who was like a like a fucking drug addict, crazy person running around the streets, I was like, well, she's black, so I picked her. Then fine. But you're
that's
talking
not
about
what
somebody.
ended, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Do you acknowledge that Kamala has more qualifications to be president than either Donald Trump, Mike Pence, or JD Vance?
I don't know that there's specific qualifications that make a good president.
Wait. Then how
I
can you
don't
even
agree with
say
that.
DEI then?
Yeah. What do you care?
So DEI it's a policy, just like Biden when he said that he was going to pick. I don't know if it was an African American female, just female,
The
or
Supreme Court.
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
black
wait. It doesn't
no.
matter though. Hold on. If we
But-
said
but
that DEI is
that's
elevating
limited.
identity over the merits, but if you
Okay,
just said
so-
that there's no like merit to choosing a VP because they don't have qualifications, then how is it DEI?
Let's just talk about it statistically. Let's say that if you're going to limit it to African American females, that gives you 1,000 potential candidates. But if you say, I'm going to pick the best candidate that we have out here in our country, and that gives you 10,000 candidates, the chances of finding someone who is better at the given position is better with a larger pool.
But you just said there were
And-
no.
and you're talking-
You just said
you
there were
just-
no qualifying things to be VP or president. So how would you even choose?
Look, so I don't know what makes a good vice president or not, but I imagine that the person that's running for president
you
is in a
do.
better position to choose people. I don't claim to.
I want to split the baby if that's okay, because I think that there's parts of both of this I agree with. I hear from Destiny and from Josiah that the identity of the individual is kind of in issue to the extent that the election or the qualities that make one a good candidate for vice president is winning the election, then maybe an identity is an integral part of that. Maybe identity is in issue and therefore should be considered. That said, I'm not so sure I buy that. I think that if truth over chaos, if Donald Trump said, I'm only going to consider white men for my vice, explicitly only white men, I think we would condemn that, wouldn't we? If
Absolutely.
he was like, yeah, we're only going to consider white men.
That's even
Wait
worse.
a second. Hold on.
It's
What
far
is the
worse.
percentage if we were to break down like evangelical people in the United States? Is this like an ultra heavily white group or whatever?
I don't know. Why would it matter?
Because I don't think anybody. Because Donald Trump clearly chose Pence because like he's a super evangelical.
Yeah, but
dude.
what if he said, I'm only going to pick a white man?
I mean,
You'd have
well,
a problem with that, wouldn't you, Stephen?
I don't know. Like Kamala Harris.
Yes, you would.
Kamala Harris probably explicitly picked a white man, right? You agree with that, right?
Probably, but we don't know for certainty.
No, but like let's say that it leaked where Kamala's like, I need a white guy, okay? Because like I'm literally a black woman. We need a white guy in here, okay? We got to get.
Yeah.
I think everybody, all the I guess Whitmer is a woman, but like people were the runnings were like white men, right? Like
Should she have done that?
I think it's fine. Yeah, it's a to some extent it's a popularity contest. Black people are a small percentage of the population. You want to have like you want to represent
You have
people.
massive stones of steel and you bit the bullet, and you think it's okay if Trump is like, I want to get elected, and so I'm only going to pick white guys for my administration, and that's a promise, a campaign promise. We'll only have white people at the start of leadership, and if I think that's in the best interest of my election, Stephen says that's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
If you want to,
Yeah,
but I think wait, hold on. There's a bit of a difference here though, because Trump is already a white guy. So it feels kind of strange when somebody is saying that like I'm picking, because the whole rationale we're giving for picking somebody based on some kind of characteristic like race is because we want to represent more of our constituency. So when somebody said, like if Kamala were to say I'm only going to pick another black, here's a stronger statement I'll make. I'll bite this bullet. If Kamala were to say I think I need a white guy, I would have less problems with that than if she were to say I need another black woman. I would be like, wait, what? That's really weird.
Wait, is that really what you're saying?
Yes,
that the
absolutely.
race of the person is going to change your disposition on whether or not race-based selection is okay?
Yes,
Can I say
absolutely.
something?
Because if the goal is greater representation or to grow the outreach or to have a larger tent party, it would make sense if you have a candidate and you're like, I want to shore up another type of difference that represents a greater part of my constituency, you'd pick somebody different. But if you pick somebody with the
I
exact
really
same,
want to shore up the black vote. So Kamala Harris right now is not doing as well in the polls with black voters as Joe Biden was and as Barack Obama was. If she was like, we need to double down on black voters, and so we're going to get another black
But that's
female.
not why Biden chose Harris in the first place.
I know.
I'm
It's a hypothetical.
Well, fuck your hypothetical. Why are we catching strays here when the whole point is to pick fights with MAGA?
because Pisco's obsessed with it. But also, on Josiah's point, yeah, and this is something that I need to hear this, okay? Kamala Harris, and I think it says something about the Republicans, okay? If you're going to say Kamala Harris is a DEI pick, that means that the DEI pick is insane because it's more qualified than the pick for president, vice president, or the current vice president pick on the Republican side. Kamala Harris has more qualifications to hold that office than Trump, Pence, or Vance. No?
Well, what is your metric for qualification, Stephen? If you're saying that they're more qualified,
She's already held a type of public office.
Yeah. So by qualifications, you are saying that it's more than just your appeal. You're saying that there's something to a person. I agree with this, by the way.
If you're going to have qualification, I mean, it was literally the executive, right? She was a prosecutor and attorney general.
Okay,
it's literally the same branch of government. Yeah.
About like your actual tangibles, your actual resume, that stuff. I think that is very much at issue when you're talking about a candidate's qualifications beyond just whether they'll appeal to a certain sector. And that's why I'm splitting the baby here. I think that it's a little problematic to be like, I'm only going to consider people from this demographic. I think that's a little problematic. I don't think it's what.
Wait,
people
so then
say.
you think it was problematic? Actually, that's also somebody pointed out that isn't fair. You're right. Pence actually did have a decent record in law. Certainly more qualified than Trump, though, or in government. I'm sorry. Wait, repeat what you just said, Pisco, because you were triggering.
I don't know how comfortable I am with the candidate saying something like,
I remember what I was going to ask. So when Biden said he was going to, I think he said explicitly he was going to appoint a black woman, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that was bad?
I don't think he should have done it. That's correct. But I think that said, I wouldn't call her a DEI hire. I wouldn't denigrate the people who are actually qualified. I just don't think that these kinds of public positioning where you're saying I won't consider anyone on the basis of their race, I don't think that that's good.
Okay, let me say one more thing and then I'll be done, okay?
Yeah.
Because Josiah said this. I got an email a while ago that completely revamped my perspective on this, and I think it's true. I think when people think of hiring, we think of like, okay, we've got 100 applicants, and it's trivially easy to list them from most qualified to least qualified right down a list. But the reality is that never happens, probably for any job. You have buckets of people who are like, these people are never hiring. These people who are super desperate. These would be good employees, and these are like our top employees, and then you might have to make difficult decisions around the top. But I feel like there are plenty of qualified people to choose from probably every demographic in the United States. And the idea of limiting it to a certain type because you want to broaden the representation that you have in your party, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Again, if Kamala Harris was literally like a crazy woman, homeless, running in the street being crazy, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is obviously fucked. But like, clearly we can look at her background and see that that's not the case. So to just chalk it all up to DEI,
yeah, and whatever you think about this, and we can have reasonable disagreements, truth over truth. Like, how is this more important than trying to steal the fucking 2020 election? Can you tell me that?
So, Marxism killed 100 million people last century. Can we agree on that?
Wait.
You're not gonna
No, that's fair. You think Marxism? Wait. Marxism as defined as identity over merit or whatever. That's what killed 100 million people?
Marxism is when you have a black vice president.
Like I said, that's where it gets complicated because it's got such a long history. But my point is that it's that ideology that points the finger at other people and eradicates personal responsibility.
So Nazis were communists, right? Because their identity.
Fuck that. You said lack of personal responsibility. Donald Trump is the king of blaming the swamp, blaming people that he hired, wanting to ask for criminal immunity, blaming the courts, blaming the governors in the states, blaming his own departments. Like, how is Donald Trump not the king of no accountability? He pardoned every single person around him.
I'm not a huge Trump fan.
Wait, are you voting? Are you supporting voting for Trump in the election?
Yes, over Harris, absolutely.
Okay, then you're a
Okay,
Trump
so then how can you say
I can't defend.
How does Trump exhibit personal responsibility more than Kamala?
I don't think that more than Kamala. I don't think that's a debate that necessarily matters. Although I can give.
Well, those are the two people that are running for election. So
right, but we're not going to get everything we want in a candidate. It's immature to think that this candidate is going to be like Jimmy Stewart at the end of It's a Wonderful Life. It's just not realistic. People in Washington are dirty, contentious, difficult, often sociopathic people. And you don't rise to that level by being a good person that's always taking personal responsibility and looking out for others.
Do you think it's more sociopathic to become a member of Congress or to become a billionaire?
To become, that's a tough one.
Is it?
Probably equally disgusting.
Equally. Oh, 1-to-1 here. Really?
Yeah, I mean, like what billionaire? You put so many questions in terms of a class of people, which makes it a really difficult question because I don't think about people in terms of classes.
You literally just did that. You literally just said people who work in D.C. are all like corrupt, evil people.
No, so that's different in terms of, actually, you have a point. I think that I did kind of violate my own rule there. But in general, I was trying to make a point that I don't like a lot of things that Trump does. I can't justify them. I can't justify a lot of things in his past, but you have two choices, and the country's going to go one direction or the other. And I think that the leftist ideology has infected so much of our country in terms of the universities, our mainstream media, government.
So when you say, I'm curious. So when you say mainstream media, for instance, do you acknowledge that Fox News, and it's all public information, openly lied for months about the Dominion, about the stuff going on with Dominion, that they knew it was wrong, that they lied openly about it, and that they continued to tell that lie anyway?
Destiny, I'm sorry, should I call you Steven or Destiny?
Steven is fine.
Okay, thanks. Steven, this is the debate that you and I had that I think caused you to block me. So I think your post was that Fox.
No, wait, we don't have to go back. No, wait, we don't have to go back to that. Are you aware that all the hosts on Fox News, all the execs in the brain room knew that they were publishing lies every single time they went on to talk about Sidney Powell's Dominion lawsuit stuff? They knew that.
So all of who again?
all the Fox News execs and all of the big show hosts. So Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity,
Laura Ingraham.
Lauren, I can't pronounce the one lady's name who does, I think it's the Sunday Morning Futures or whatever the fuck. All of them knew that they were lying when they were out there saying these things.
So what things?
That the Dominion lawsuit, that Dominion was founded in Venezuela, that they were flipping votes, that they were causing the election results to be significantly altered.
But Stephen, I think this is where you get frustrated with me, is that specifics matter. If you're going to talk about they're guilty of something serious like this, you have to know the timing. You have to know what they knew at that time.
What they knew was that
knew.
they knew they had a fact-checking room called the Brain Room that knew that the specific claims, the specific factual claims that Sidney Powell was making about Dominion being founded in Venezuela, being associated with Hugo Chavez, and that there was evidence that votes were being flipped. They knew that those pieces of information were factually incorrect. They fact-checked it in the back and knew that it was incorrect, and they continued to run programs that were repeating those claims uncritically.
So, assuming everything that you said is true, that Fox News hosts were aware that precisely the statements that they were putting out to the public were false at the time that they made those statements to the public, I completely agree that they're guilty of lying to the American public.
Okay. Can you give me a single example on the left of anything that even remotely approaches that? Where an entire network was involved in spreading a lie that came from a political campaign for a month and they knew it was a lie?
So I think that the media's complete indifference and lack of interest in a president that showed significant decline in physical and mental capabilities is one of the most disgusting.
Bro, they were so on
They were publishing op-eds, exposés, and reports about President Biden's gaffes to a staggering degree. Media Matters has covered this extensively. The rate at which Biden's gaffes were covered compared to Trump's was like a 4-to-1 ratio. You are dead wrong.
Not to put aside like the social media. Social media was inundated by some true like clips of his mental decline and some like doctored images of his decline. It was everywhere.
Also,
and the American people all got the message.
Yeah,
right?
and also look at the difference in response. Biden had that bad debate performance, and he was pushed out of running for election again as the incumbent president.
Unheard of in
Fox
American
News
history.
settled the largest settlement in the history of defamation lawsuits, and they operate like nothing even happened.
Yeah, and I asked a question about that.
Wait a minute, can you concede what we just said there? Because you have to understand, number one, these two things are not comparable, and number two, you were wrong on the coverage of Biden's gaffes. Number three, you were wrong about the response to Biden's gaffes. And number four, you said you're an attorney. I'm not. My understanding is that the threshold for defamation cases is absurdly high in this country, given the First Amendment. So the fact that Fox settled and nearly paid $1 billion to dodge this trial seems to indicate that they knew that they may very well lose at trial, to say nothing of the documents that were released during discovery, contemporaneous evidence, text messages, emails, private correspondence from the executives, the on-air talent, indicating they knew that the people they were either about to interview the next day or had just gotten done interviewing were full of shit. Can you please just concede, for the sake of good faith, this asymmetry here?
Man, I don't know if it's my memory or if I need a notepad or about it. There's like 5 things there. So
the first one was the media coverage. You claimed that the Biden's gaffes were not covered by the media, and Josiah presented you evidence, one in the form of a statistic, and also we can just point you to the deluge of news articles about his gaffes for years now. Could you at least acknowledge the media wasn't like hiding for Biden his gaffes?
Again, so the gaffes is a specific term. I'm talking more about evidence of physical and mental decline in terms of, can this guy be president? Where Joe Scarborough, just before the debate, is saying that I know this guy, this is the sharpest Biden ever. And, clearly that's the opposite of true. And I can see that with my own eyes. So
wait. Let's hold on. Let's just do a quick logic, okay? Do you think that Scarborough was lying when he said that?
100%.
Why would he lie about that, knowing that Biden was about to do the most publicly viewed debate in all of U.S. history?
I think that there's conspiracy theories that I don't think are impossibilities. I don't really want to get into them because I also don't think that they're likelihoods. But I think that they were surprised by it.
Wait, no.
If they're surprised that it wasn't a lie.
It can't be true that he was surprised by it, because if that was true, then it wasn't a lie.
I do think that they pumped him full of drugs when he had debate performances or big speeches, and I think that he anticipated that would continue to happen.
Hold on. Do you have any evidence for that whatsoever?
No, I mean, I don't have evidence for it. No, I can't say that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I will say that I think that.
But you think it?
Huh?
You think it even though you have no evidence for it? Why?
Well, so because I look at the world in terms of patterns, and that helps me figure out what people's motivations are. And
I'm seeing a pattern right now.
the left. Do you think Joe Biden was running?
Why do you think he's on drugs if you have no evidence for it and you acknowledge he doesn't have evidence for it?
Or let's say you thought he was on drugs. Why didn't they just give him more drugs for the debate?
That's a good question. I think that they wanted him out.
Who?
Why do you think he was
Wait,
on
what is
drugs?
this? Hold on. So the plan is that everybody's a part of is that we're going to get Biden out. Then why would they waste time covering for him? Did they just change their mind? Why did they change their mind?
So that's an interesting thing, because another part that I have a real problem with the media for is a complete 180 on Kamala. There's
don't topic change. Don't topic change. Well, let's Let's. I want to follow.
You asked me why did they potentially want Joe out, and they wanted someone else. Is a potential explanation for that. So it's answering your question. But if you want to talk about Joe Biden more, a lot of it is in the eye of the beholder. I know what I believe I saw, and I can't believe that you don't agree that you saw the same thing.
Truth,
because I'm trying to just make sense of it. Like, why would you go out and tell something that you know to be a total lie, knowing that it's about to be revealed as soon as Biden steps out on stage to debate?
Moreover, I don't know that he knew it was about to be revealed.
Moreover, you said they wanted him out?
Yeah, I mean,
why wouldn't they just tell the truth then?
Yeah, wait, why wouldn't Joe Scarborough? Imagine if Scarborough had come out before and he had said, actually, we've been watching Biden behind the scenes. He's deteriorating a lot and he's super stubborn. And then Biden goes out and he fucks up the debate performance. Well, now they all look great, don't they? Oh, cool. We got him out and we look great. Like, why would you fuck yourself over?
I think that the media, mainstream media, and someone like Joe Scarborough is essentially a propaganda wing for the Democratic Party.
But you said they wanted him out.
Yeah, wait. Hold on. Okay, yes, a propaganda wing for the Democratic Party. If they wanted him out, why wouldn't they go to Scarborough and say, hey, we need you to start, like, shitting on this guy?
Yeah, I don't know that Scarborough was in on it at that point.
Wait, if he wasn't in on it, then it wasn't him lying. It was his genuine opinion.
That point. So, no, but I think that he knew that he was failing mentally and physically, but he still was in the back for Biden, like everybody was, across the board. And...
Okay, so just to recoup, so you think that people like Scarborough are doing propaganda for the Democratic Party, but they're not contacted by the Democratic Party, but they go out and they lie for Biden, not knowing what the Democratic Party wants, and then they get the message that Biden is bad after he has a debate performance, and after now they've lost a ton of credibility, and then they switch messaging now to go and be against Joe Biden?
That's like a straw man with no legs. That's not even close to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's people that are running this country, and I don't believe that Joe Biden has been making the final calls on big decisions the last 4 years.
Okay.
I don't know if it's worth debating because you don't know either. It's something where neither of us are going to have any evidence.
Well, no, the problem is, to be clear, you have zero evidence for any of this, right? These are all just like conspiracies that you believe that you have nothing to support.
What evidence do you have that Joe Biden did not have any advisors or puppet masters who were controlling him?
Did you just ask him to prove a negative?
How am I supposed to do that?
I mean, so it's something. What I'm saying is that no one knows what goes on in the Situation Room or wherever it is they're making fucking
Was Trump
decisions.
making all the decisions when he was president for 4 years, or was there a secret cabal controlling him?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, wait. So you're not
Why are
voting
you
then, at least, right? At least you're not voting, right?
Of course, I'm going to vote.
Wait, why? If it's
a
just secret cabals changing everything behind the scenes anyway, why waste your money and waste your time?
I think that and I do have concerns about what the hell Trump's and the right's doing, almost like they want to lose. But, I think that at least they understand the dangers of Marxism. And that seems to be the biggest concern that we have. And, there's so much arrogant ignorance about the slope that this goes down. And it scares me for my kids more than for myself, but it's a serious concern. There was one other question I wanted to address, which was about the $780 million settlement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I handled a lot of cases where
He's going to talk on some bullshit about how somebody settled because of whatever. That's not at all related to this, and it's a stupid red herring to even go down this case.
Let him tell his anecdote.
No, I already know his anecdote. He's fucking retarded. I can tell you what you're going to say. I had a lot of cases where my clients didn't want to go to court for a variety of reasons, so they decided to settle for a variety of reasons, but just because you settled something doesn't necessarily mean that you admit guilt, right? Can we just skip it? That's what you're going to say, right?
That's what you're gonna say, is it?
part of it, but also that there's information that comes out in discovery. So, you're talking about perverts like Bill O'Reilly and who are some of the others at Fox News, like that Eric Bowling guy.
Yeah, Jesse Waters, both, but neither Waters nor Bowling were working for Fox at the time that this came out. I mean, Waters was there, but O'Reilly and Bowling were long gone.
I don't know, all of the specifics about who was there. My point is that there's fucking perverts there. The owner is probably into weird shit too.
Do you like Fox?
understand? You understand? You know the stuff that I was reading off about the stuff that I was reading, right? Like the text messages and everything. Do you know where those came from?
Where?
From fucking Discovery. They ended up settling literally like the day before the trial. So Discovery already happened. So your explanation doesn't even make sense procedurally.
They discovered the absolute day before the trial?
I think they settled.
No.
They settled the day before the trial, or it might have been the morning of. I don't remember.
Okay.
It was very close in time to trial.
All right, so I don't know the details on that, but there's information that can come out at trial that didn't come out at discovery as well. So
True.
There's potentially information that was in discovery that was going to come out.
That's great, and that might be the
was more
case. But the
damage.
reality is, I've seen enough in slides to basically prove the defamation with malice, like that seems to
Not
be
even
there.
close.
Stephen, can I ask you this? How are they going to prove $780 million in damages? If they're prepared for trial, they must have had evidence ready to demonstrate, how the statements from Fox were.
Yeah, to the brand name. So one, you can point to probably a bunch of contracts that weren't renewed in states that have crazy conspirators. You can point
Can you point me to any?
Can I point?
any
No,
evidence of it, or
I
just
specifically
speculation?
didn't come to this is the world we want podcast with all of the damages calculations of the plaintiffs.
Yeah, but
and the
I only asked you that.
No,
because
I
I'm
don't
gonna
have.
do it.
You don't necessarily
offhand.
have to prove damages in every single defamation case. You can sue for a
Of
ton.
course you do. That's part of it. That's an element to it.
You absolutely do not. For instance, for defamation per se, damages are statutory. You don't have to prove lost money or damages to actually be awarded something from a court. So you're dead wrong. Number one. Number two, Dominion is a company that has contracts all over the United States of America. I'm sure that they could go to court and have a heyday saying, here's what we did, 2 years ago. This was last year. Look at our revenue now. We're going to argue this for damage. I'm sure there's a ton of ways that they can argue damage.
PR, this is what we had to spend on investigations.
Holy
this is what we had
shit.
to spend on lawsuits. This is what we had to spend on all that. Yeah, and also if it's done with sufficient malice, you could absolutely have some kind of
Statutory
damages.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Stephen, per AI, the fifth element for a defamation case is damage.
Are you citing AI?
Why are you somebody who graduated law school? Why are you go to Westlaw and
told
read?
me
Why
I
are
was
you giving me an
wrong.
AI answer?
Because Stephen, you told me I was wrong.
You are
I just
wrong.
told you that damage.
So
was an element
defamation
to-
per se. Defamation per se. Do you know what defamation per se is?
I don't offhand. It's not in the area of law practice.
Then why the fuck you talking? Why are you citing AI?
Well, he told me that damage wasn't an element for defamation.
It doesn't have to be, not necessarily.
It was a quick way to tell Stephen he's wrong.
Don't cite AI. You're making our industry look bad. All right. So it is true that typically damages on a normal defamation case is one of the elements that you're going to have to prove. But there are certain categories in different states, and it's different by state, where there's such thing as defamation per se, where if the defamation is of a certain kind, they're going to assume certain damages, whether it's nominal damages, or they're going to apply some kind of flat rate to it. That is just, you can look that up at your own leisure. But it is true in this case that they would have put on experts to talk about the damages. There would have been a battle of the experts, and they would have put up all their contracts and stuff. And so really, this isn't the whole, this is where you should be dying on. You should be concerned that Fox News was knowingly spreading lies about the election. That should be what concerns you, not about the amount of damages.
Yeah, I have not seen any concise, clear documentation about what the lies were or how they.
Tucker Carlson said these are all bullshit to that effect. Stephen has the exact quote somewhere in his big ass document, and he's knowing this, and they're putting on these cats to talk about all the bullshit claims.
These are execs at Fox, from Ron Mitchell to Tommy Firth. The Dominion shit is going to give me a fucking aneurysm. As many times as I've told Laura it's bullshit, she sees shit posters and Trump tweeting about it. She wanted to invite an 8chan poster on about this. I beat her back on Dominion, saying we should have to tell the truth, and this makes the president look like an idiot and expose you and maybe Fox to his continued wrath.
But that that's a statement from a certain date. I would need to see a statement that was Tucker Carlson.
This statement was from November 12th, while they were still running shows about Dominion, which they did all the way through up through January.
Yeah, but Stephen, you understand my point about the specifics matter if you're going to talk about...
Hold on, I'm so sorry, but you don't even know the difference between statutory damages versus defamation per quad. Why are you talking to me about the specifics when you were just consulting AI for like basic information about defamation lawsuits? You don't care about the specifics. You don't even know how the cases work. What are you talking about?
Legal work.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Also, wait, I'm so sorry. Stop. Wait, wait, stop.
I did it for your benefit.
No,
Stephen.
it's not for my benefit. I've already done all of this, and I linked it to you in our Twitter thread. I already linked it to you in our Twitter thread. Also, why are you talking about needing specifics for this when you don't need even a shred of evidence that Biden is on adrenochrome, is on drugs? You believe all of that without a shred of evidence? But when there's 163 slides in this case where Fox settles the largest case of all fucking time for defamation, you're like, well, I don't know. I would have to go and look. Like, why haven't you? You're not concerned about something like this?
I've got bigger concerns in my life.
Why do you think Joe Biden's on drugs?
Than evidence.
Why do you think he's on drugs? Tell us.
I think that was a minor point that I don't know the specifics.
We just spent the past 3 days on that minor point.
All I know is that
what sort of legal work do you do?
The whole country watched as he fell at military services. He shook hands with people that weren't there. He couldn't get off of a stage. So the whole country saw that. And the media
that proves he's on drugs. Falling down proves you're on drugs.
Trump literally almost died of fucking COVID, and you're trying to like Jesus Christ.
But I'm not saying that Trump's healthy. What does that have to do with anything?
But you're going to be
have
voting
to vote for one or the other.
And Biden's not the candidate.
Yeah.
Biden's not the candidate. So if physical and mental health matter to you, you should be voting for Kamala Harris.
Marxism is more of a concern than anything else in my view.
It's so concerning you can't define it. What are we doing here?
I just defined it for you in terms
identity
of
over
the
merit. Except Donald Trump is the biggest nepotism, biggest nepo baby there's ever been. He advances identity politics more than Kamala. Oh my God, I did it.
I'm not a fan of nepotism. I think that's reprehensible too.
Wait. On nepotism, can you agree that Donald Trump bringing his family into the White House is more nepotistic than I think I know in recent history of any other president?
I would say that's probably true.
Okay, so he's more nepotistic. Do you agree that what are we even supporting Donald Trump for then? What, you think he'll fight against Marxism? Is that the most
Marxism
important?
as defined by identity over merit.
So I think in a lot of ways, the left has abandoned the idea of truth in favor of compassion.
Hold on, you understand that you just made an argument that Biden, with no evidence whatsoever, is on drugs, that the media was all complicit in hiding this with no evidence, but you won't accept the fact that Fox News, with a mountain of deposition and discovery in front of you in the entire world, you won't admit that they knowingly lied to the American public for months leading up to the election? Why are you talking about evidence or truth? You're completely divorced from reality.
Man, these attacking, ranting questions, man, I don't think it's interesting, but if that's what your listeners want to hear about, like...
Oh, well, okay, hold on.
Whatever,
Do you already acknowledge that you have no proof? You don't even have, like, evidence, like hard evidence, that Scarborough was lying about Joe Biden's mental state. You have no evidence of him being on drugs. You admitted as much. You're like, I'd be crazy about talking about this. You have eyes? What do you say you do? Trial court? Have you ever used that one before? I have eyes, Judge. Is that how you win cases for your clients? I have eyes. Don't worry. As long as you bring your eyes to court, we'll be good today. The jury loves that line. I have eyes.
You resort to these fussy insults because you would lose in a debate on the facts, and I think you know that.
On which facts?
On which facts?
So what I'm telling you is the left has abandoned truth in many of their policies and blinded people with the idea that we can just be compassionate about everything. We can tell anybody they can be the gender they want, and everybody has to go along with that.
Did the French do that too when they gave us the Statue of Liberty with that cringy poem about give us your huddled masses or whatever? Should we have been saying from the very beginning, fuck immigrants, fuck everybody that wants to come here and do anything in America, that's a delusion? Like, was that DEI or Marxism as well? Or
Man, I don't even understand what you're attacking me for there. Like, is that a real question?
yes.
Okay, can you clarify for me what you're saying?
Why the fuck did we accept Irish and Italian immigrants who were coming over poor and broke and destitute from fucking Europe? Was that a mistake? Was that DEI? Was that Marxism?
So, I mean, of course not, but I don't even understand. I'm trying to understand what the point of the question is.
This idea that helping people or welfare or your definition of Marxism and how the Democrats are doing it is like incoherent. I don't understand what. Like, what's a concrete step that Biden has taken us towards Marxism?
Advancing DEI throughout FEMA, throughout Secret Service.
How has Biden advanced DEI through FEMA?
So I know that there's I think the number one statement within their policy goals is to promote equity, something DEI related.
Hold on, I'm going to ask again. How has FEMA done something? How has Biden done something with by the way, every fucking company's mission statement on the planet is going to have something to do with equity or some bullshit, okay? I'm asking, what did FEMA do?
That's the problem.
Yeah. What did FEMA do that was bad about, like, DEI? Like, what did they do?
So the fact that they devoted resources towards that rather than people like me who have been hit by 2 hurricanes is ridiculous.
Resources towards what?
Towards DEI trainings, towards making that a policy goal.
Truth.
All of that.
There is a natural disaster relief fund that FEMA presides over. Not one penny of that has gone towards DEI initiatives. What are you talking about?
Well, still, it's government waste to do anything towards DEI.
You just said that relief for people like you who have been hit by 2 hurricanes was being diminished because of DEI initiatives. Number one, that's not true. Number two, what's your real concern here?
My real concern here is that merit, capability, quality of production, the value of a hard day's work, communities of people working together are all things that matter. And as we focus on anything other than that, we lose sight of the truth and what humanity is capable of. We make people weaker by teaching them to blame others for their problems.
So if that's the case, isn't Donald Trump the ultimate example of that? Who's the fault for America's problems? It's immigrants. It's China. It's
liberals.
The Democrats. It's DEI. It was the swamp. It was all these people that I fired. It's the corrupt governors. It's the system. It's the bureaucracy. It's the deep state.
Do you have a single example of Donald Trump publicly admitting that he fucked up, that he ever made a mistake?
Ever.
Probably not. I think he's a pretty severe narcissist.
Pretty big deal if you're talking about personal responsibility. A guy who was not taking personal responsibility for literally anything in his decades of public life. That's what you just said, and you're over here talking about personal responsibility. Give us a break.
Well, you're equating what my values are in terms of a person and for my family and community with what I have to have in my president. If
there's no relationship between your values and who you want as president, even if we grant you every single premise, which we don't, then that's still not a reason for you to vote for Trump over Kamala, because you just said you don't care.
What reason are you talking about?
You're saying that the person doesn't matter. That just because you're voting for someone doesn't mean that they have to embody personal responsibility. And what Josiah is rightfully telling you is, by that logic, then it doesn't matter if Kamala Harris or Joe Biden embodied certain principles that you don't agree with, because it's also irrelevant just as much as Trump's personal failings are irrelevant. Do you understand what I just said, or no?
I really don't follow, but
okay.
I think that either way it goes back to the fact that I know that whoever I vote for isn't going to be perfect. They're going to be far from perfect.
We're not talking about who's perfect. It's about who's better.
Right. Yeah, I still think that overall, it's a complex world, and you have to look at what your top priority is.
No, hold on. It's not complex and it's not overall. You're obfuscating when you say that. Because you can't
It's
give a
not
single
complex.
fact on which Donald Trump would be better than Kamala Harris because you're delusional. You're not attached to reality at all.
Yeah, and please don't go back to Marxism because, again, not only did you not define it well, number two, you just said that there's no relationship between your personal values and the person that you want to be president. So that's just really boring. Let's move on to actual disagreements that you have, like on policy specifically, on record, on aspirations. What are some other reasons that you don't want Kamala to be president?
So, you know,
Give him a second
I mean,
to put it into AI. Give him a second.
you know, you all do an awful lot of attacking and not very much listening. So I think that that's a big problem that exhibited by Kamala supporters is that
Listening
you
is
all are
too
in
much
lockstep.
compassion, and we don't want to show you compassion because clearly you have an issue with it. So
No,
I'll
it's
ask you
because I tell
again,
you the truth.
outside of Marxism, what are reasons that you don't want Kamala to be president?
So it's the almost fascist rigidity with which you all must follow the leftist ideology, and how much anything that conflicts with your leftist ideology terrifies you.
Does it bother you that
So-
you say that, but there's more ideological diversity in the Democratic Party versus the party of Donald Trump, where if you say anything mean about Donald Trump, he will explicitly attack and destroy your career? Like, can you think of any Democrat politician
that's
who's
an
attacked
abs-
Democrat? Go ahead.
So, are you talking about? I thought you were talking about supporters when you were asking the question, but then the last thing you said suggested that it was in terms of politicians.
Major figures, supporters.
Oh
He'll
shit!
go after
I'm sorry.
anyone
My
that's
bad. He just
important.
wants to talk about people on Twitter. My bad, because he doesn't
No,
give
no,
a fuck
I don't
about
know.
them.
I'll answer the question, but I don't understand which
Who
one
do you
you're
think?
asking.
Who do you think attacks people in the party more, in their own party more? Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, or Tim Walz, or Donald Trump? Who do you think attacks their party
Trump by far. Trump by far.
Yeah.
Okay,
So he's
then-
more fascist and
Yeah.
unitary, and he does not tolerate people dissenting. But meanwhile, we have a coalition between Dick Cheney, Kamala Harris, and AOC.
How is
So-
that fascist?
So just going back to the current election in terms of certainly Trump is bombastic and insults people all the time, and you know he does threaten other people's careers and does ridiculous shit like that. The left, that stuff isn't out in the open, but you can be damn sure it's happening.
Wait,
And I
what?
think that's what's scarier. So the thing with Biden getting pushed out and George Clooney writing the op-ed.
Hold on.
all of
George
that-
Clooney writing the op-ed. That's a public Hollywood actor writing a public Hollywood piece. The
Yeah,
pressure
and I
from the
think that-
politicians. This is public. What are you talking about? It's not.
It's public.
Well, so it's not doing what it's said. It's not. Yeah.
How is that private?
not-
You just got
it's
caught.
public.
You know. Why don't you acknowledge one? Like, oh yeah, I fucked up. Sorry, bad example.
No, it's public. I agree. But what I'm saying more is that the politics within the Democratic Party seems to take place largely behind closed doors, and
Okay, well, here's a question. Can you think of anything that's even remotely within comparable to the private call that Donald Trump had with Raffensperger?
to be honest with you, I don't even remember what you're talking about, man.
Donald Trump called Raffensperger and ranted
Oh, to get
like,
more votes. To get the more votes.
yeah, all that. Can you think of
Yeah.
anything that's
Yeah.
happened like that privately
bullshit.
that's even close to what Donald Trump did there?
So it's been a while since I looked at that, and if I recall correctly, the language it sounded bad, but
It was a call where Donald Trump was
exculpatory-
rattling off a whole bunch of disproved conspiratorial nonsense.
and it was like "get me" or "find
No,
me."
I don't
"find
care about
me."
that one thing. He was rattling off a ton of disproved conspiracies. The Mark Germany, I believe, was the lawyer, and then Brad Raffensperger were on the phone saying none of this is true. And then Trump and Meadows and one of his attorneys was saying like, well, this is criminal. We know you guys are doing criminal behavior. You need to get me these votes. Like, I know that there's a voter fraud. You better have your election changed or whatever, right? That call was scandalous. Can you think of a single thing that Democrats have done on that level privately that Trump tried to do privately there?
The literal bribery indictment, Stephen. Come on.
You know, so I think that there's evidence on the. Yeah, you know, not off the top of my head. I'll
Wait, mention
Okay,
the
wait.
bribery indictment.
Can you think of anything that's on the level of Donald Trump trying to tell his Department of Justice to mail out fake letters to states saying that they'd found election fraud when they
Yeah.
haven't?
I don't know the facts that you're referring to well enough to answer.
Come on, you don't know the facts of the fucking election coup?
Or what about when
So,
Bill Barr?
you know-
What about when Barr left? When Barr publicly left with like with like weeks to go before the certification. I think on December 14th, Barr resigns from the DOJ. Okay, because he's tired of Trump lying about all the shit behind the scenes about the election fraud or trying to get him to do shit that he doesn't want to do. Right? Barr publicly quits over this. Can you think of anything the Democrats have done on that level?
I get that the election stuff is all pretty widely accepted as disproven. So I don't say that there's evidence of.
No, I'm not talking about
election
any of
fraud.
that. You said you made the claim that Democrats are doing private stuff behind the scenes. Okay?
Right.
And then your examples were very public things. I'm talking about things that were actually private, that were actually, he tried to hide them a lot. But I don't know what the example is on the left that you're even comparing this to.
Maybe they're better at hiding them. If
So you have
something
no
is
evidence.
specifically
No
done
evidence.
behind closed doors, the whole point is not to produce evidence of it. You understand that, right?
So basically, the recurring. You said earlier in the when you first joined that you see patterns, and I'm seeing a pattern here, which is that you claim things without evidence. And so this sounds more like religion. This
that's a
sounds more like
bullshit
wait a minute.
accusation.
This sounds more
Where
like
did
religion.
I claim things about evidence?
This sounds
Biden drugs.
more like religion.
Biden drugs.
Or the
But
left
I
doing
didn't
things
claim
behind
it
closed
happened.
doors.
I just claim that as a possible explanation for
No,
it.
you said
because
you believed it.
I said
Do
that I
you
believe
believe it, yes or no?
I didn't say that I believe that it's true. I said that I believed it's possible.
Oh, wait. Do you think it's true then that Biden was being given a cocktail of drugs to perform better?
I don't know.
Be honest.
So
I
the
think
answer is
it's
yes.
likely. I gotta go.
You
in
do
about
believe
10
it. You
minutes,
believe
guys.
it.
Hey guys, I gotta go in about 10 minutes. Do you guys? Is it okay if I?
No, I want to
just
give
tell
you the opportunity to ask us questions because we've been asking you a lot of questions. Do you have any questions for us? Do you want to interrogate any of us?
I would love to sometime.
Okay.
I just got to get ready for dinner here. But can I talk to you guys again sometime?
Yeah,
Destiny,
of course.
or
We'll
Steven,
never
are you gonna
block you
me
again. You're always welcome on This Is the World We Want. We want to have very good engagement by representative of the MAGA community, and so you're always welcome.
And
I don't
I
like
think
being
you,
called
I think you
representative of
are
the MAGA
very
community,
representative of
He
MAGA.
is
my
super
friend.
representative
I don't
of
like being-
MAGA.
I don't, but I don't like that because I talk.
I
shit
don't
about
like it
Trump
either.
Just as much as, not just as much as you guys, because that's all you guys do.
Hold on, wait.
but,
What are
like,
three big criticisms you have of Donald Trump?
I think he's a narcissist.
Okay, not really relevant. Go ahead. Two others.
Well, that's a criticism I hear from the left all the time. Is that
No. Well, but we complain about him being a narcissist because it manifests in illegal activities, like trying to get Ukraine to dig up information about a political opponent, or trying to direct his Department of Justice to prosecute political opponents, or using the office to rig the election. Those are why we don't like the fact that Trump is a narcissist. You don't like the fact that Trump is a narcissist because you think all he does is he tweets mean things at people. It's not the same.
So the one thing I was going to say to you guys in the few minutes I have left is just on the DOJ stuff. I know that you guys will disagree with this and tell me what an idiot I am, but I think there's enough patterns that it's pretty clear that you have a history of 250 years of presidents where not one ex-president had ever been charged with a crime after their presidency. And then the next one, Trump, was it 94 crimes he's charged with?
Yeah.
And one of them, and you always hear these crazy things about like how he was embezzling $10 million from Dubai and shit like that.
He wasn't charged with that.
No, I know that he wasn't charged with that. But my point is, if he was doing shit like that, why did they charge him with a bootstrapped federal statute and state court fucking paperwork crime? Like,
They
is it
charged
that
him.
important?
They charged him with a business records crime because he falsified business records.
I get it.
The answer.
But do you think that all of the other ex-presidents were entirely clean?
I don't have to prove that. That's not my claim.
No one has to prove that. I'm just saying.
No, I don't
that there's
believe so. I think
evidence that he was-
I think Richard Nixon did criminal things. I think Ronald Reagan did criminal things, or arguably, definitely illegal things. I don't know about criminal, but certainly. Illegal.
I don't think any president conducted himself in a manner in which he thought he was above the law. I think that if ex-presidents did do illegal things, they were probably trying really hard to hide it. Donald Trump doesn't try to hide it because he can rely on sycophants like you to defend him no matter what, and constantly pivot away and constantly whataboutisms to other things. That's why you can't give a single example. You can sit here and say, well, don't you think other presidents did what? Who did what? What do you think? Give one example.
Steven, why do you get so worked up with me, man?
Because you're a fucking loser. Because you are a horrible, terrible person, right? Who is ostensibly part of the legal system in the United States, who doesn't need evidence to believe in things, who's supporting a guy who should be against every single value that any like American person has. You're insane. And you're sitting up and you're saying things like, well, I think Democrats are divorced from the truth. And also, I think Biden has been like on a cocktail of drugs forever that I have no proof for. I think the Democrats do bad things behind the scenes that I have no proof for. And I also don't conveniently know about any of these things that there's tons of proof for on the conservative side. You are emblematic of the worst of this country. Like, you're worse than like the most trans immigrant, illegal immigrant that eats all the cats and dogs in the entire country. Like, you're worse than that person.
Hey, if I block Steven, can I still join the space? Or
I don't know. Probably not. I just want to say before you, we're going to sign off pretty soon. And thank you for joining us, Truth. But I just want to say avoiding reliance on AI can be important for several reasons. Number one, critical thinking. Relying too heavily on AI can hinder our ability to think critically and analyze information independently. Two, creativity. Human creativity and intuition are unique. Overusing AI may stifle original thought and innovation. Bias and misinformation. AI can perpetuate biases and inaccuracies presented in its training data. It's vital to verify information independently. And so it's important to maintain a balance between using AI as a tool and fostering our own skills and judgment. And it's essential, by the way, when you're doing legal research, to always check those sources. Do not use AI for legal research. Thank you so much.
I was just typing in my phone, like Google, and sometimes AI comes up first. So sorry if that's like a rule or something, but
it's a rule.
It's not a rule. We just don't want it to become a pattern.
If anyone uses
hold on.
AI,
I don't even agree with what Pisco just said, though, because I think you have to consider that AI-driven debates that can generate high-quality, nuanced arguments at scale and provide a powerful platform for testing and refining ideas can offer a lot of value to public discourse. And also, you have to consider that by training machine learning models on vast amounts of data and allowing them to engage in structured, iterative debates, it's possible that we can surface new insights, challenge assumptions, and ultimately arrive at more robust and well-reasoned conclusions.
All right. Thank you, guys. Wait, Truth. Seriously, we can do this sometime later. I appreciate everyone who's been listening so far. We tried to keep it a little bit more cabined in. You can all assess how successful we were. But in general, we want to keep the conversation flowing, and I wanted to let Steven cook a little bit more this time around. But seriously, appreciate everyone coming in. Let's do it again sometime soon, and I'll try my best to stay more calibrated next time, and appreciate everyone's input.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Later,
Take care.
guys.
Pisco's here. Just I can make you co-host if you want.
Sure.
Oh yeah, you can continue. I have to go, but much
Fuck
love.
you, Pisco.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Okay, it's gonna take me like 3 minutes to figure out how to do this. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
That guy was an attorney, by the way. Actual.
I asked, Dan.
Hand to God.
I
A
tried.
real
I
attorney that believes in everything. Passed the bar, the whole thing. That's the best of them.
Well,
that's the strongest warrior.
I don't think that's the strongest. That's the strongest.
Did Rob Noor pass the bar? I don't think so. No.
That guy's probably
the bar pass rates are like 70-80%, aren't they?
I don't know. I feel so sad listening to that because part of me, I was only sad about the attorney part more than anything else. I didn't care about anything else. It was just, what the fuck? How?
Hey guys, I have to go eat dinner, but anytime you want to know more about January 6th, I can speak in detail to it, but I got to go now. So I appreciate y'all having me.
Okay, have fun.
See ya.
Okay, go. I'll do 20 more minutes. Or actually, I've got food coming soon, so go for it. Just knock yourself out.
Oh, guys, yeah, if you guys want to speak up and defend Trump, defend the Republican Party, step up. We have any takers?
Before you do that, I do have a question, Steve. And we talked about this before, but it's actually super interesting. On the Hunter Biden laptop thing, if you were to sell me your computer and you didn't wipe it for whatever reason, when I open that computer, if your background was a photo, like your Windows background was a photo that you took, am I committing a crime by using the computer and looking at that photo?
Probably not.
So what license is granted?
Don't know, don't care. Whatever the license is, there's a huge difference between seeing something on a laptop screen versus publishing the information publicly, especially like having dug through folders and stuff. I don't know what the individual law would be or whatever, but at the very least, it's stuff that you don't have the right to republish. I
was wondering if there was any. I couldn't find any case law on it. I think it's like super interesting. Pisco, do you know anything about that?
Pisco's gone. He abandoned us.
Right.
So I don't know what order these are in, so we're just going to like pull a random one. Unirock TV, would you like to defend Trump and MAGA? I approve the thingy. Is he not showing up? Is there like a delay when? Oh, there he is. Unirock TV, you are a speaker. Would you like to defend Trump?
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, my connection was acting funny. Well, let me see.
Wait, were you on before? Wait, sorry. Were you on before?
I was on before.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry, we have to let you go. Bye. Okay. So